Hello and welcome to the virtual orientation for the 2026 Winterlude Triathlon. We have a lot to get to, so we'll kind of just hop into it, but my first thing is a disclaimer. Always fun to start off a conversation with an asterisk. So this event has been going on since 1984. It's over 40 years old. It's the oldest winter triathlon in the world. So I know it says Canada on the screen, but we are now the oldest in the world. How cool is that? Now this event is unique for a lot of reasons, but it also really does rely on Mother Nature. You can imagine a winter triathlon needs to have the perfect conditions to have ice to skate on, snow to ski on, and it's still a runnable surface. So my asterisk is that this event has been going on since 1984, which makes it about 42 some years old. And we've had almost 30 different versions of this race, 30 different formats over the years. And I'll use 2025 as an example. So in 2025, in the weeks leading up to the race, it looked like we weren't going to have any ice. The forecast wasn't looking great. We go, oh darn, we won't be able to do a triathlon with a skate in it. So we made a new plan for that. And then a week or so goes by and conditions changed tremendously. And we were able to have a skate again, but it wasn't going to be at the location we originally had planned for. So we had to make a whole new edition. We made a new video for you, and we showed you where the new skate course was going to be. And then by a stroke of luck, the weather got even better for a Winterlude Triathlon, and the entire canal ended up being available for us. Thanks to the people at the NCC and Winterlude, we were able to use almost the full length of the canal in 2025. So we quickly made a new version, which no one loves making last minute changes, but it was still 4 or 5 days before the race where we changed the skate course again because we had this really unique opportunity to use almost the entire length of the skateway. Instead of doing 3 or 4 loops, we did a nice long skate, showcasing most of what the canal has to offer. So the asterisk is that you can watch this video, learn as much as you can, but things may change. And if there is any changes to the course, we'll make a new video, we'll delete this one. So any video that you see on YouTube for the 2026 Winterlude Triathlon is the most up-to-date one. So with that out of the way, let's get to it. We'll talk about things the way they're supposed to go, kind of our plan A. We'll talk about pre-race, then we'll talk about plan A for the skate, the run, the ski, and then post-race. Pre-race. My number one piece of advice is to pick up your bib the day before the race. So that's Friday, January 31st. We'll be at Bush Taka in Westboro. They're at 203 Richmond Road. They've got a few locations all across Ottawa, but we'll be at the Westboro location from 4 to 7 p.m. So by picking up your bib there's a couple things. One, you get some perks. Usually Bush Taka gives you a little bit of a gift card or like a comeback coupon that you can use in their store. Only if you pick up the bib the day before, so there's that. 2 is that it gives you a chance to meet our race crew, ask your questions, talk to other athletes. It really gives you a chance to flush out some of the questions you might have about the race instead of doing it on race day when you're already there on course. 3, it's one less thing to do on race day. If you don't pick up your bib at Bush Taka, you can do it on event day, but that's just one more thing you have to do, pardon me, on a very busy race morning already. Race morning itself can be quite crammed, so the more you can take off your plate on race day, the better you're going to feel about your race. And by picking up the bib the day before, you get a chance to ask your questions and be even more prepared. So I do recommend doing that. Now, for the race itself, what you're going to have to do is everybody's going to have to drive themselves or get themselves to the Cherry Fox facility on Riverside Drive. Because when you get there, you have to set up your skis, set up everything you want to use for the ski portion of your race inside of the transition zone. So you show up, and the order of operation is you park your car if you drove. From there, you go and get your bib if you haven't done so already. Then after that, you have to go get your timing chip. It'll be all in the same little area, so you really can't get lost. I know it sounds like a lot of things without a map to show you, but they're all right at Cherry Fox facility. And on the next slide, I can kind of point it out a little bit. So you park, you get your bib if you haven't done so already, you get your timing chip, then you go into the transition zone that we call a T2, because it's the second transition, to set up all of your ski equipment. Then you get on a bus, and we bring you to the start of the race. Because the event's kind of a point-to-point. You start somewhere downtown, you skate your way to Dallas Lake. Once you get to Dallas Lake, you'll hop on the multi-use path and you do your run to Mooney's Bay, and then you ski at Mooney's Bay. So for race day itself, it's all at Cherry Fox. We'll be ready and set up by 6:30. Try and get there at least by 6:45. I know that doesn't seem like a very big window, but all those things are very condensed. Like the bib pickup and the chip pickup and the transition zone are all within 50 meters of each other. So it's not very hard to do. And we do limit the size of this race, so there won't be thousands of you doing all this stuff at once. It's a nice manageable number, and our team will be ready for you at 6:30. So show up at 6:30, grab all your stuff, and get ready. Now the last little bullet point there says late registration. That's always subject to availability. In 2025, the race did sell out. We're going to try and increase that capacity just a little bit this year. We have to work with our stakeholders like the city and the NCC to make sure that's allowed. But we'll always try and make as many spots available as we can. But the only way to guarantee your way to get in is to sign up early. So now I'll repeat that a little bit and just kind of show you on the map. So, pardon me, you'll be parking right over here at the Terry Fox facility. This is right off Riverside Drive. You'll park right here. Our booths will be set up right along here where you'll pick up your bib if you haven't done so already at Bush Taka. You'll pick up your timing chip just right beside it, and you make your way through these gates, and the T2 or transition zone is right here. If you know the area, it's right behind the bleachers at Terry Fox. It's the same location that it was at the last couple of years, so it's all going to be right here. Pretty straightforward stuff. So now the skate. You hop on a school bus. Now here's the important bit. When you hop on the school bus, you are wearing everything that you need for your run, and you're carrying everything that you need for your skate. Because when you get back to Mooney's Bay, your ski stuff will be there, but your run stuff needs to be with you. Last year we had 1 or 2 people who hopped on the bus with skates on or something like that, and they finished the skate and they go, where are my running shoes? Well, if you leave it back at Terry Fox, you're not going to get them until you get to Terry Fox. So I'll use this as plan A. So plan A is to do things just as we did in 2025. I'm hopeful and optimistic that if the canal conditions are excellent, we can actually use the full distance of the canal, and we can start right down by Confederation Park by City Hall, and you'd be able to skate the entire distance of the canal. But without approval for that just yet, and without knowing what Mother Nature is going to do, here is plan A. So you arrive by a shuttle bus. It'll drop you off right here. You walk kind of 15, 20 meters to get onto the canal. When you get on the canal, there's going to be some warming stations here. We'll make sure they're open nice and early. You can stay warm in there. You can go on the canal and skate around and get warmed up. And when it's time to get started, you're all going to line up under the archway. We'll have a big purple archway. It'll say Somersault. If you've been to one of our races, you know our archways. It'll be right there. We'll do a big 3, 2, 1, go, and everyone goes. Now, the nice thing is that when we say go, your time won't actually start. What we're going to do is what's called a waterfall start. So when we say go, there'll be these row of cones on both sides. 3, 2, 1, go. You got to make your way in between the cones. The cones will get thinner and thinner and thinner. It'll naturally thin you guys out. And once you get to the end of the cones, that's where our timing mat is going to be. And when you go past that timing mat, that's when your race will start. So that way, when we do a 3, 2, 1, go, it's not everyone bunched up near the front. There's no one tripping over somebody else. You can use this distance here to get your speed up, get as fast as you want, and then go. That's where starting from a standstill and trying to rocket ship your way out of that start line is a recipe for a pulled hamstring. So we're going to try and keep you guys healthy and happy, get you guys all spaced out nice and long, and give you a chance to enjoy the skate without too much bunching at the start. So that is the Coles notes of how the skate is going to start. Other miscellaneous things is smile for the camera. We'll have photographers on site taking photos, and photos are free to download after the race. We'll have washrooms on site right over here. Next to the warming hut is another hut that has dedicated washrooms, but there's also washrooms available at the end of the skate and at Terry Fox before you get on the bus. So some options there. So that is the summary of the skate. My last little point here is a good one. I think with this format, this waterfall start, with the timing mat being where it is, my little slogan is, unless you plan on being the first one to finish the skate, there's no point on being the first one to start the skate. Because you can imagine we do a 3, 2, 1 go, and the fastest ones go up at the front. Their time starts. But it could even be a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes later that you make your way through the start line and then go when you're ready. You have enough room to make yourself comfortable. You're with people that are of similar skating abilities than you, and that's fine. Even though you started 3 minutes behind the first person that started, your time won't start until you've started that part of the race. So there's no penalty or disadvantage for not being the first one out of the gun. So I'll use my cursor again. You're going to start here by the Canal Ritz or 5th Ave. You're going to make your way down the canal. When you get here to Dow's Lake, you're going to go up to Dow's, down, over to the Hartwell Locks and back. And then you're just going to do this little section one more time, and that is your finish. So that's plan A for the skate portion. If anything changes, again, we'll let you know. But I don't want to go too far down the what if rabbit hole just yet. If you go onto our website, somersault.ca, and you click on the event, Winterlude Triathlon, you can also see a Strava file for the event. So if you want to follow along with the cursor and things like that, you can even look up segments from years past and see how fast people were if you're curious. But you can also look at the results from last year at results.somersault.ca and see who was there and see how it all went if you're curious to know whether you belong, more close to the front of that start line or a little further in the back, somewhere in the middle. It's all there. So after your second loop, you come on down, and when you get to where this checkered flag is, there'll be a sign saying, second loop, go left to do your second loop, or transition zone, turn right. And when you get to the T zone, you'll pull off and you'll change into your running gear anywhere you like. No, we'll see anywhere you like. There's plenty of benches there and whatnot. There's lots of room to change, but find a spot that's free. Take off your skates, put on your running shoes, and then make your way up onto the canal. And that brings me to my final point about the skate, and it's an important one, is that when you start the event, when you start the skate, you'll be wearing your skates and everything you want for the skating event. Maybe you wear a helmet, maybe you want extra layers, maybe you want to wear sunscreen because the sun is really bright that morning and you're wearing short sleeves. It's a warm day, let's hope. But you're also going to you have to carry a backpack, or you have to carry, your running gear somehow, and a backpack just makes the most sense. So when you start the race, 3, 2, 1, go, you're wearing skates on your feet and you're off to the races, but you have to make sure that you're carrying what you need for the run. And when you finish that skate, so I'll use my cursor again, you come on down and you finish your skate, you'll sit down on a bench or on a snowy bank or wherever you find space. You'll take off your skates. You might take off your helmet if you chose to wear a helmet. Anything you don't want to wear anymore, you'll take off, you'll put on your running shoes, and then you'll put all of your gear that you no longer want into that backpack and then hand it to a volunteer. And then you run off into the sunset and you'll start the run portion of the race, which I'll show you on the next slide. But everything that you don't need anymore needs to be in one backpack that's zipped up or closed up somehow, and a volunteer will take it to the finish line for you. So when you're done your race, after everyone's done skating, we'll have another shuttle bus come by. It'll grab all the equipment. We'll bring it to the finish line for you, and you can try and find your backpack through the pile of other backpacks. It will help you try and sort it out. But that's how we're going to manage the transportation of equipment. In years past, they used to make athletes run with their skating equipment. So after you finish the skate, you put on your running shoes. You had to carry your 2 skates and your helmet and whatever else with you. We don't want to go back to that. It's a lot harder to do a 5K run while carrying all this equipment. And no one likes running with sharp blades in their hands. I think we were all taught that from a young age. So this backpack intervention is what we've come to. You're still welcome to run with your skates if you love your skates so much and you don't want to hand them off to a volunteer or you're worried about X, Y, and Z. But if you do want to drop them off, make sure they're all in one backpack that you can close up somehow, maybe a buckle system or a strap or zipper, and then the volunteer will grab it for you. You run off into the sunset, and that volunteer will load her onto a shuttle bus to be brought back to the finish line. And then the run portion, there's only one sticky point. I'll just show it to you here. So you finish, you put on your running shoes, you give your backpack to a volunteer, you go onto the canal, the multi-use path of the canal, kind of where you would bike in the summer, or any time of year really. And you're going to go east, do a little bit, do a loop, and then you start your 5K run. Because if you went from the green dot here all the way down to the red dot, it's not exactly a 5K, it's a little bit short. So to get the 5K that we advertise, you have to run east to do a couple hundred meters, you do a U-turn, make your way back, and then it's just one-way traffic, nice and easy, all along the canal. You get to Hog's Back, you turn east again, south on a riverside, and you go into the parking lot the same way you drove in the morning. So that nice downhill to finish that run. It's a great way to finish it off. Other miscellaneous things to mention is that the entire course is open to the public. So during your skating portion, you might be in a little bit of a pace line, you might be solo, it's whatever you like. But keep in mind that we don't own the canal. Someone at this early hour could still be on the canal going for a skate, and they're allowed to. Please don't tell them to get out of the way, and please don't zip by them at 40 kilometers an hour. Give them lots of space and make sure everyone else feels welcome on the canal. And the same goes for the multi-use path. I know that we're all racing and trying to do our best time, but please be courteous to other runners so that we get invited back to do this event in the future. And the same reminders, smile for the camera, photographers on site. We have washrooms right at the start of the run on the canal, like on the actual ice. There's washroom huts. And then we have some at the finish line at Terry Fox. So you got washrooms at both ends of your run. And then the ski course. So you get to Terry Fox, you take off your running shoes, you put on your ski boots, and you head off onto your skiing portion of the race. One common question we get is a lot of people, when they do the skating portion, they wear ski boots with clip-on blades. So if you plan to use clip-on blades with ski boots for the skating, and you plan to use ski boots for the ski, you have to either plan to have two different pairs, or you can run with your boots. So after you're done skating, you can grab your ski boots off your feet and carry them with you for the 5K, or you can rent a second pair of boots. There's actually a rental shop at Terry Fox, so you can always contact the rental facility at the Terry Fox facility, rent a second pair of ski boots and use them for the skate or the ski. It's up to you. But that's one question we often get is, I only have one pair of ski boots. How do I use it for two sports? Well, you can either carry it with you, rent a second pair, borrow from a friend or something like that. But keep that in mind if you're someone who's very logistically minded like me and you love to think about all the little details. That's one little detail that people often overlook if you're using that kind of equipment. So for the ski portion, I'll use my cursor again. You grab all your equipment from the T-zone, you head out onto the course, and you're doing 3 loops, going counterclockwise. The entire course is groomed for skate and classic. You can do either. There's washrooms on site at Terry Fox. And as you're going down, you're doing your loops. When you get right around here, there'll be a fork in the road. It'll say, extra loops, go left, finish, go right. So then you go to the right and you finish when you're all done, or you stay to the left and do your loops until you've done 3. So that is plan A. Again, this is one of those things that, again, every year the course changes a little bit. I think it was just last year where a tree had fallen somewhere over here. So instead of doing this extra little bit here, we had to cut the course short a little bit here. But then to get the 2 kilometers that we wanted, we had to add a little section here. So don't get too hung up on the details because it might change a little bit. But I can promise you that the course will be well marked on race day. We'll put these little red flags in the ground to mark the course. And it should be pretty darn clear. So follow the markers, follow the people in front of you, follow the volunteers' direction, and you'll get to where you're going just fine. And that's it. At that point, you've done the Winterlude Triathlon. You're a finisher. You can put your hands in the air in celebration. You got a couple options there. So after you finish the race, you have to go grab your bag. We'll have a pile of them. We'll try and organize them a little bit to go grab your skating bag from the finish line. And then we'll have some hot chocolate and some food at the finish line. You can grab that as well and refuel. We'll try and do a quick award ceremony depending on the weather. Last year we did the overall awards, and then most people wanted to get out of the cold by then. We still did the age group awards, and most of you had flown home by then just to get out of the minus temperatures that we had. But we'll do a little award ceremony once most people are done the race, where we do awards for overall by gender, and then we do overall results by gender by age group. So stick around for that. All the results are going to be live at results.somersault.ca pretty instantly. So as soon as you cross the finish line and you get warm and your hands have some circulation in them, you can go online and check your results live and just see how you did. The photos themselves will take a few extra days, usually a day or 2 extra, but photos.somersault.ca for that. And again, don't forget to grab all of your gear. So you finish the race, you have to go back and get the running gear that you left in T2. You got to get your backpack that we took from the shuttle bus for you. Don't leave anything behind. It's all great equipment that I'm sure you want to use again. So don't leave it behind, please. So I know that's a lot of information. If you have any questions, let me know. It's adam@somersault.ca. I look forward to seeing you all on race day, or better yet, the day before at bid pickup. But send me any questions you have by email, and I hope to make you guys prepared for the big event coming up soon.